What up, y'all? It's your boy again. Right back at you with another shorty. Yeah, I did a video earlier on talking about Six Flags America, and it got me thinking about some of the times that I got stuck on a roller coaster. So the only time that I can remember getting stuck on a roller coaster at Six Flags America was I got stuck on the old Two-Face roller coaster. Now, that roller coaster is no longer there at Six Flags anymore. For those of you who remember that roller coaster, it was a roller coaster that went through frontwards and backwards, but it was a little different. As far as I can remember, it's the only time I ever remember being on a roller coaster where it was a roller coaster where it was one of those roller coasters where your feet hang out. Your feet hang down like you on a swing. And when you sat in the car, it was 4 people to a car. And it's like, if I'm facing forward, there's somebody sitting right next to me. And the people in front of you, or in front of us, were facing us. So you got 4 people in a car facing each other on a roller coaster. And how the Two-Face went was that it starts off going from the start point, it goes back up a hill. This real long hill. It goes up the hill slow. And then once you get to the top of the hill, it drops you down and you just speed through the roller coaster. You go through the whole joint. It's all kind of loops and twists, and then at the end of it, it goes up another hill, and then it goes back through the whole roller coaster again backwards. So if you start the roller coaster off going forward, you're going to go through the other half going backwards, and then in reverse. If you start the roller coaster off going backwards, you're going to go through it again forwards. Well, this time we got on the roller coaster, and like I said, from the start point, it starts going up the hill slow. And I was in a position where I'm going up the hill backwards, but we're going to go through the whole roller coaster forward first. Well, as we got to the top of the hill, and usually how that roller coaster went is that once it gets to the top of the hill, it never stops. It gets to the top of the hill, and then all of a sudden it just shoots forward. Well, when we got to the top of the hill, it never pushed forward. So we hanging at the top of this hill. I'm facing down, and the people we looking at, they're looking up at us. So we was hanging at the top of this hill like that, a good 200 feet off the ground, because the roller coaster, the hill itself was like 175 feet. But that's not including the walkway or the staircase to get up to the platform. So we lit off the ground. The hill itself is 175 feet, but that's 175 feet off the platform. At the top of that hill to the ground is probably 225, 250 feet. And that's all we see looking down this hill. And it's a high hill, but it's also a steep hill. Like you're almost facing the ground. That's how steep it is. And the people that's going to be going through the ride backwards, they just sitting up looking at the sky. Okay? And we sat up there in that position for like 30 minutes. It got stuck at the top of the hill. So we sitting up there, and because we are away from the base, they never told us what was going on. We didn't know why this roller coaster is not moving. So we just sat there literally for 30 minutes. And do you know what kind of thoughts go through your brain sitting up at the top of a roller coaster hill? And mind you, at the top of the roller coaster hill, it's not like a hill where you go up the hill and go down the other side of the hill. No, it's just a one-way ticket up. It's just you go up to the top of the hill and you shoot back down the hill. You don't go up and over. You just go up and come right back down. We sitting there for like 30 minutes. Do you know what kind of stuff going through your brain when you sitting up 250 feet up in the air, just staring at the ground? People look like ants. And I can't imagine what the people who we were looking at, what they thinking, because the only thing they can see is the sky. So we just, and our feet are hanging out this thing, okay? And there's, if I fall out, the only thing holding me here is the straps of this roller coaster, is the shoulder restraint and the seatbelt. Is the only reason why I ain't dropped 250 feet to the ground. Okay, because where we were away from the platform. So if we would have fall out of this coaster, we would have fell right to the ground. It's just grass and dirt. We sat hanging there for 30 minutes, thinking about life and death, okay? And I guess 30 minutes or so went by, and this the crazy part. The roller coaster, when they finally released, we just came flying down and went through the whole ride. It's not like they let it down slow and let us off the ride. No, it shot down like it's supposed to. We went through the whole ride. And then we got off. It went through the whole thing frontwards, went through the whole thing backwards, and then we got off. So we go from thinking about death to just going through this whole roller coaster. Ridiculous, right? Needless to say, that was the last time I ever rode the Two-Face. And that roller coaster was notorious for getting breaking down. That's why they ended up discontinuing it. I remember one time it was on the news where people were stuck up there for like, it was something like 2 hours. They were stuck in the same position we were at that launch position, dangling up in the air. They was up there for like 2 hours. It was on the news. And just me personally, what I think what the issue was if you remember back to years before when it was Wild World, when they came out with that Python roller coaster. That Python went through frontwards and backwards, but it wasn't made like the Two-Face. And it wasn't as big as the Two-Face. My opinion, because both of those roller coasters were the exact same color. Both of them were orange roller coasters. I always felt like they used probably some of the same parts, some of the same track from that old Python that came out, like the Python came out, had to be in the early 90s. Because when we was there, on my 8th grade graduation, we had that out there at Wild World. Like I said, I don't remember if it was a graduation or if it was just a trip, but I know that we had like chairs and a stage set up. I kind of think that we like graduated. They had our graduation ceremony at Wild World, and we were there. You're talking about in the spring of or summer of '91. I don't think the Python was there then. I think that came after that. It might have was there and we just didn't get on it at that time. But let's just say that Python came out maybe in the late 80s, early 90s. By the time Six Flags took over Adventure World, this was like the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. By the time Six Flags took over that, because the Two-Face came out with Six Flags. I gotta think that if it was late 90s, early 2000s, by the time Six Flags took over, it was Adventure World at that time. From that time to when the Python was out, had to been a 10 to 15 year gap that Python had been retired and that Two-Face came out. And I think they used a lot of the same track from the Python and put it and added to that Two-Face roller coaster. And I think that probably had something to do with why that Two-Face roller coaster kept breaking down, because it had old parts and new parts put together, because it was always breaking down. People were always getting stuck. And they ended up discontinuing that roller coaster, the Two-Face roller coaster. So I think that was the longest I'd ever been on a roller coaster stuck like that for like a half hour. That was the only time I got stuck at Six Flags America. Was on that Two-Face. Another time, now we talking about Kings Dominion. I got stuck on a couple of roller coasters at Kings Dominion. I'm wrong. We had got stuck on a minor racer one time going up the hill, but it wasn't that long. We were stuck up on that hill for we was going up the hill, and we were stuck for like maybe 10, 15 minutes going up the hill on the minor racer. And again, they didn't bring it back down. We was up there for like 10, 15 minutes, like midway up the hill, and the ride just continued. We went through the whole ride. I don't know why we had to wait that long on that minor racer. But I think those are the only two times that I got stuck on roller coasters at Six Flags America. Kings Dominion, me and my daughter got stuck on the Grizzly. We was almost at the top of the Grizzly. We had went up there during the week, and we had kept riding that. We rode that Grizzly probably about 3, 4, 5 times in a row. And to the point where it was just me and her on it, sitting up in the front seat. And it got stuck. We was like 90% to the top of the hill when it stopped. And we sat there for we were up there for like maybe 15, 20 minutes, just sitting almost at the top of the hill. We got stuck. And I thought they were going to make us get out that car and go down that staircase, because the staircase the maintenance people use. I thought they was going to make us get out and go down them steps, which I have no idea how. My daughter wasn't going to go for that. So I thought they was going to make us go down the steps, but they didn't. Whatever happened, they brung us back down. We was up there for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and it came back down into the starting position, and then they shut it down for like half the day, and then later on that day they fixed it. Then we came back and rode it again. And we got stuck on that on a separate trip. I got stuck on the Grizzly a couple times. I don't know what was up. The Grizzly was just old. Grizzly was it might have been like the first roller coaster at Kings Dominion. Another one we got stuck on the Backwoods Rebel Yell. He was on the Backwoods Rebel Yell. It got stuck, and he wasn't on the hill. It was just doing the running the regular parts. And it wasn't just us, because at that time they had the Backwoods Rebel Yell and the Forwards Rebel Yell, and they ran them at the same time. So it was and the track was like right beside each other. So you could be going on the front was Rebel Yell and go right past people that's on the back was Rebel Yell. And I remember we got stuck almost at the same point. It was like right midway through the ride. Both cars got stuck almost in the exact same area. Let me be right back for a minute. Let me turn this air conditioner off. I'm in my hotel room. I'm back. I done went to the movies. I saw The Sinners, one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. Hold on for a minute. Let me go turn this air conditioner off. This air conditioner is freezing in this hotel room. Hold up. Whew. All right, I'm back. I'm sitting right beside my AC unit, and it was freezing. All right, but we got stuck about the same point. We was like sitting right across from each other on the Rebel Yell. Me and my daughter was on the back was Rebel Yell. They were on the regular front was on, and we was like at the same spot. We weren't on a hill or anything. We was at this level area, like right in the middle of the ride. And we just sitting there talking to each other for like 5, 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, the ride just started right back up. That was crazy. I'm trying to think of any other time I got stuck on roller coasters. There's so many of them at Kings Dominion. That might have been it. I'm trying to think. It might have been it. I never got stuck on a roller coaster at Hershey Park. Hershey Park roller coaster's always been good. I don't remember ever getting stuck on any roller coaster at Hershey Park. Well, there was one, but it wasn't long. We had got stuck on the Super Duper Looper as we come out of the start gate, and you kind of go down this small little hill, and it takes you on a curve, and you go up to the main hill. It was on that first dip, when you come out the start gate and you go down this little dip, and then you level off and you ready to go up to the hill. Right there is where we got stuck. But it was for like 5 minutes. It was like 5 minutes. And then we went on with the regular ride. But that was the only time that I can think of. I never had any bad interactions or ride experiences at Hershey Park. So Hershey was good. One time at Busch Gardens, me and my daughter got stuck on the Big Bad Wolf. And that roller coaster, if you ever rode that roller coaster, they got that thing built up in the woods. So it was somewhere in the woods that it got stuck. And we was sitting there for a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, and then it started back up. I like that roller coaster. I think that was like their oldest roller coaster, and that was fun. The Big Bad Wolf. But I think that of all the roller coasters, I think that's the only times that I got stuck on roller coasters. Never got stuck on a roller coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure up in New Jersey. And I got to get back up there too. They got a lot of new rides up there. I haven't been to Six Flags New Jersey in a long time. I think a lot of roller coasters that I rode there probably ain't even there no more. I haven't been up to that one since that McDonald's trip might have been the last time I've been up to the one. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. My daughter had a cheerleader competition up there back when she was in high school. She in high school? I think that's when she was at St. Francis. My daughter went to St. Francis 9th and 10th grade and went to City. She graduated from City. She went to City 11th and 12th grade. Somewhere in there, I don't think she was cheerleading at City. She was cheerleading at St. Francis. And she cheerleaded in middle school too, but I don't think that this wasn't when she was in middle school. This when she was in high school at St. Francis. So she was in high school. My daughter was in high school from 2013 to 2017. So somewhere around 2014, 2015, they had that cheerleading competition up at Six Flags Great Adventure, and then we got to ride the rest of the day. I went up there with her because the King of Cub was up there then. The King of Cub was the largest roller coaster in the world. We was definitely getting on that, and it was broke down when we got there. It was closed the whole day and never opened up. As a matter of fact, I think they done took it apart. It's not even up there no more. So and they had like all new rides. I hadn't been there since the McDonald's trip, and that was back in 98. And so when I left there in 98, they had all the old roller coasters. They had like the Batman, the original Batman ride, and then they had the Batman and Robin, the Chiller. Those two were there. Then they had the Great American Scream Machine was there. At the time, that was like the largest roller coaster in the world. And we kept riding that joint. We rode that joint like 5 times in a row. Because there wasn't nobody up there. Wasn't nobody up there. So we just got off, ran around, and got right back on like 5 straight times. The Viper was up there then. Couple other joints. But then my daughter's cheerleading competition went up there. And like I said, that's when the King of Cull was there. We couldn't get on that, but they had a whole bunch of new stuff up there that we had rode. Good stuff. And matter of fact, not only that time, some of my cousins had a trip to Six Flags Great Adventure, and we had rode, and it was around that same time. I went there like back-to-back years. I had went there, and they had some, it was some joint that had just came out. It was like 200 feet, feet hanging out. You know, those roller coasters where your feet hang out. We was on the front row, 200 feet in the air, and that thing felt like 400 feet in the air. The way they had that thing set up, maybe it was because of the way the chairs were with the feet hanging out. I think that was the first time I got on a roller coaster that was 200 plus feet in the air, and it was those roller coasters that you sit in like a swing. And I forget the name of that roller coaster though. That was a really good one. But I never got stuck on a roller coaster up there, which is surprising because they got a lot of roller coasters up there. I never got stuck on none of them up there. But I think those were the only ones. The Grizzly, I got a couple times on the Grizzly. The back was Rebel Yell. But those are all like short, you know, the Minor Racer. But the longest one was that Two-Face. He was up there for like 30 minutes, like real time, 30 minutes. And then they just zoomed the thing right through like nothing was wrong. Like we wasn't just sitting up there for 30 minutes. And they ended up shutting that ride down. So I think that's it. All the times that I got stuck on roller coasters. So that's it for now. I might do another roller coaster. I can tell a lot of stories about roller coasters. I might do one about some of my favorite roller coasters. And some of my favorite roller coasters might be old now. Some of my favorite roller coasters might not even be existent anymore because it's been so long. I haven't been like actively riding roller coasters since my daughter left. She was my partner. Like I said, my sons, they don't do them like me and my daughter used to do them. We was like roller coaster buffs. And when she graduated in 2017, she went to Howard University, and then from Howard she moved. She was living in DC, living in Virginia. Now she done moved down to Florida. So I don't have my roller coaster partner anymore. So I just stopped. I don't ride them. But because now I go with my kids, my sons, and they just want to go to the water park. They ain't really worried about roller coasters. So yeah, I may have to do a video about some of them old ones that I used to really like when I was still riding. So that'll probably be the next one. I might do that one. Might do that one tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see which way the wind blows. We'll see how. Like I said, I'm still out here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Got a long day of tournament bowling tomorrow, so we'll see how I feel tomorrow. I might do another one tomorrow. So I'll check y'all out. Ha ha.